I just have to say, for those of you, I get emotional, those of you who feel like nobody is seeing me, nobody is hearing me, but I have so much to give, and you feel like it may be too late because you have so much to give, God has not forgotten about you.
That is Sherri Shephard after the big announcement that her daytime talk show, Sherri, has been renewed for 2 more seasons. Such an incredible accomplishment. And joining me today is the queen herself, Sherri Shephard. Hi, Sherri.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So good to see you and be chatting with you today. First of all, I have to give you a huge congrats because your talk show is the #1 new syndicated daytime talk show this season. And it was just announced that your talk show has been renewed for 2 more seasons. How does it feel to be you?
That's surreal because I know that, you know, we're only 4 months in, so to get renewed for 2 seasons is wow, that's very cool. That, you know, it feels good to know that people have connected to what I am putting out. Because you always wonder, are they going to come to my party? Is anybody going to show up? Are they going to like me? So that feels good.
I relate to that. And I loved your renewal announcement on your show, too. And I think one thing that really struck me was how you said it gets greater later, which is so inspiring because I feel like so many of us fear aging, especially in this industry. Talk to me about that. And what are some of the things that kind of keep getting better for you, either personally or professionally?
Wow, you know, it's so funny being at this age because I've had this dream for so long when I was younger and had the stamina, the energy, but I knew that I was not ready 18 or 20 years ago to have my own talk show, even though I had the dream, and it's having to have matured into this dream. So I really feel like this is a perfect age for me because I am very clear on what I am trying to do with my show, who I'm trying to connect with. I'm very clear on the segments I want. And it's also inspiring when you see other women, you know, Jennifer Coolidge and Sheryl Lee Ralph and Niecy Nash and Michelle Yeoh. We're all the same age. So it's like, I feel like people are seeing us in the totality of what we can do and what we can offer.
I love that so much. And I want to talk a little about your journey to get here and where you are today. What did like 18-year-old Sherri want to do? And if you could go back, what advice would you give her?
Oh, wow. 18-year-old Sherri just had, you know, she just had big dreams, but she was very, very shy and she was very socially awkward and she never knew how to get there. She just knew she wanted to, you know, make people happy. So the advice that I would give young Sherri, I would say, take risks. Everything will get better. You don't be so obsessed with one event because it literally will get better. You won't even think about it anymore. Don't be so obsessed about what people think about you, but stand up and just go for it.
Sherri, where were you when I was 18? I needed this advice here. I love it. That's great advice. What are some obstacles that you had to overcome and how did you kind of stay focused on your path?
Oh, obstacles that I had to, oh gosh, getting my car repossessed, getting evicted, staying on people's couches, relationships breaking up, you know, being a single mom supporting my son, trying to figure out if I was going to work, being fired. So a lot of those obstacles, but I just knew that I loved what I was doing. And I just had to believe in myself and know that something else was going to come. You know, when I was released from The View, I sat there and I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. What am I going to do? Is anybody going to remember me in Hollywood? And what am I going to do? And it was literally like this soft, still voice said, do you trust me? And, you know, with that, I got a phone call maybe 2 weeks later from Will Packer saying, we got a movie called Ride Along 3, would you? You know, and then I got a call from the folks who did Cinderella on Broadway, Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical. And they say, hey, Keke Palmer's playing Cinderella. Would you like to play her stepmother? I never stopped working. So, you know, just believing, knowing that it's not going to stop for me.
For sure. You just always have to keep your eye on the prize. Even I always say to like a delusional point.
Absolutely. You just have to keep focused on why you got here, why are you doing it? And I love what I do. And, you know, I always say if nothing else works, I can always go back to doing stand-up because that's what I love.
For sure. Okay, so with the talk show, what's kind of surprised you the most?
With the talk show, what surprises me the most? I've never worked at this level having a talk show. This is stuff that Barbara Walters always did on The View. I just showed up, I was talent, and then I would go to the plays and go to the parties, and that was it. No, like I come in early in the morning and I leave when the lights are off. So it's leading, it's management, it's booking, it's segments. You're always on the phone, 24/7 with people about aspects of the show. It's how do you improve, oh my gosh, the lights, the cameras. I've never worked at a level like this before.
For sure. And you've had some pretty exciting guests on, too. I know Janet Jackson surprised you on your show. What was going through your head when that happened?
First of all, I couldn't believe every time I slept outside of Warehouse Records to get a ticket to one of her concerts, how she made me feel with all of her songs, sleeping outside of, their estate in Encino, California, when I was a senior in high school. So many different things. Like, this is an icon. This is a legend. And thankful to John Murray, our executive producer, for putting that surprise together for me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Janet.
No, your reaction was the cutest, too. Okay, I have so much more that I want to ask you, including the advice that Oprah gave you when you started your talk show. So stick with us. We'll be right back with more from Sherri Shephard.